Welcome to 2025. I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year and are ready for some new indie games. Before I start the rundown for January, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who supported the channel in 2024. It's been great to see the steady growth, and hopefully this year I can hit the mythical 1,000 subscribers. Now, let's get on with the list. First up, at number 10, we have Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter, a sequel to the critically acclaimed action RPG that moves the setting to the north as you take the role of Arlo, young heir to the Warden of the Wastes. Featuring the same great art style of the first game and similar Souls-like combat, this sequel isn't looking to reinvent the wheel, but provide more of what made the first game a success. The one new addition is an emphasis on hunting down monsters in order to obtain rare resources to upgrade your loadout. The game even features narration by Doug Cockle, he of Geralt of Rivia fame, to give everything a bit more of a Witcher vibe. Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter comes to all the consoles and PC January 28th.
And will not stop until the world burns in blood. Fight fire with fire, they say, but one rat can brave the blaze. Wield the flame with a bloodlust even greater than their own. Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter.
Coming in at number 9 is Yield Fall of Rome, a turn-based 4X strategy game with fast-paced tactical gameplay set during the fall of the Roman Empire. Taking control of one of the 8 factions, you are free to forge your own destiny. Will you adapt Roman society for the new age, or hold on to the traditions of the past? Each faction has its own individual campaign, leading to a fair amount of replayability. I played a demo for this game over a year ago, and I liked the focused and fast-paced Civ-style experience that the title was going for. The setting has shifted a bit since then, and I like the idea of bespoke campaigns to play through. It gives the game a bit more structure. I'm glad they have kept the art style, as I think it is one of the game's standout features. Yield Fall of Rome marches onto PC January 20th. At number 8 is party-based beat-em-up action roguelike Final Night. 2024 saw a rise in the number of roguelikes featuring co-op mechanics, and it looks like we're going to see that trend continue into 2025. With 9 classes and 6 backgrounds to choose from, there is a fair bit of variety available in the character creator. Alongside this, at the end of each level you get to choose powerful relics that will really shape your character and provide the meat of the customization. Synergy is the name of the game when playing with friends, with giant bosses to take on with mechanics that take inspiration from World of Warcraft raids and Monster Hunter. Don't worry if you like solo gaming, as there is the ability to take on the challenge by yourself if you wish. This title will live or die based on how the combat feels and how diverse the relic choices are. Let's hope that in both instances, developer 2 O'Clock Soft are able to deliver. Final Night stomps into Steam Early Access January 13th. At number 7 is The Stone of Madness, a stealth tactics game in the vein of Desperados and Commandos. Taking control of 5 prisoners, you must make your way out of an 18th century Spanish monastery which has become your prison. Along the way, you must uncover the mystery of said monastery and stave off insanity. That last bit is where the originality lays in this title, as each of the characters you control are dealing with various mental anguishes that manifest in weaknesses that affect how you play. One character, for instance, is afraid of the dark, so cannot be left alone in dark areas. Another doesn't like the sight of dead bodies. Each character also has their own abilities which will help solve the various puzzles thrown in your way as you make your way through the monastery. With Me games no longer around, it is nice to see other developers pick up the stealth tactics baton and bring some new ideas to the genre. The Stone of Madness shuffles onto all the consoles and PC January 28th. Coming in at number 6 is your obligatory co-op survival game. Aloft looks to stand out in a crowded genre due to its major hook. Instead of exploring a large landmass, players explore a world of sky-bound islands. Your ultimate goal is to cure the world of the fungal corruption, but along the way you will discover new islands and technologies, build your own home, and take care of various animals. Sitting at the more sedate end of the genre, Aloft looks to be providing a chilled experience, where the emphasis is on building and exploring. I do like the idea of building my own skyship, and having a game that isn't focused on boss killing and combat is a nice change of pace. Aloft drifts onto Steam Early Access January 15th. Heading into the top 5, we have fishing RPG Sea Fantasy. Yes, you heard that right, I said fishing RPG. This game is an open world pixel art action RPG where you set out as 2 fishermen on an adventure to fish for the CAZ. As you explore, you will find new fish to catch, which in turn will provide resources you can use to upgrade your fishing rod and hooks. With ship-based exploration, you will head out to discover new areas to fish and also dungeons which can be plundered for rare resources, but watch out for traps as you do. I really like the sound of this title. The idea of a fishing RPG is such a cool one, and I can't wait to check it out. Sea Fantasy sails onto PC January 7th, with a console release to follow in February. At number 4, we have Blade Chimera, a Metroidvania with a bit of a difference. This title looks to mix the exploration and ability gating of Metroid with combat that has the feel of a Contra game. From my time with the demo, I found the combat to feel really good, with the blade-based abilities that you unlock providing a nice amount of variety. It is these abilities that will allow you to open up new areas in the game. Coming from the team behind Record of Lodos War and Touhou Lunar Nights, you know Team Ladybug's latest game has a good pedigree behind it. Blade Chimera comes to Nintendo Switch and PC January 16th. Heading into our top 3, we have one of those titles which, whilst technically being from an independent studio, it sits at the higher end, with much higher production values than the other games on this list. Eternal Strands is a third-person action adventure where you fight epic towering creatures using various elemental powers. Playing as Bryn, a young fearless weaver, you are determined to recover the cultural home of your people. The big hook with this title is the elemental system, with each element acting as you would expect in the real world. Heat spreads, cold chills, and the real-time destruction allows for reactive gameplay. As well as using the elemental abilities to defeat enemies, they are also used to traverse the environment and solve puzzles. It has a very elemental Zelda vibe to it, which is no bad thing. Ultimately, how the elemental combat feels to play will be the deciding factor as to whether this game sings or not. There needs to be a nice variety, and if there is, then Eternal Strands could end up being a lot of fun. Eternal Strands arrives on PC, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox series of consoles, January 26. Sitting at number 2 is our second co-op roguelike of the month, but this one has a bit more stardust surrounding it, coming as it does from developer Heart Machine and being a sequel to their debut game. Hyperlight Breaker is a game that when it was originally announced did not strike me as something I wanted to play, but as development has progressed, it has turned into something that I very much want to get my hands on. An open world roguelike in which you can team up with up to 2 friends to explore a world that is ever changing and full of unique enemies and loot. Playing a bit like an extraction shooter, you must make your way back to the settlement with your loot and resources, die, and you lose everything you've collected during the run. I'm sure the combat will be on point, judging by their previous games, and I like the sound of the explore, loot, extract loop, so I'm hopeful that this will be another hit from Heart Machine. Hyperlight Breaker glides into Steam Early Access January 24th. Finally for January, at number 1 is Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. The first game in this series was one of my favourite games of 2022, so it shouldn't be a surprise that the sequel is the game at number 1 this month. Like the first game, Citizen Sleeper 2 is a story-heavy sci-fi RPG that uses dice mechanics to help tell its story. I expect the story to be on point, much like the first game, but would like to see the dice-driven gameplay tighten up a bit. There are a few shortcomings in this area, so some improvement here would be appreciated. More than anything though, I am looking forward to diving back into the world that Jump Over the Age has created and seeing what new stories they can tell. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector comes to PC, PlayStation 5, the Xbox series of consoles and Game Pass January 31st. That wraps up January. A strong start to 2025, I think, with some real stellar indie games right out of the gate. Let me know in the comments below which games are your favourite and if you think I've missed any. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and maybe subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out and I appreciate anyone who takes the time out to do so. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again next time.